YouTube, what is going on? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for the weekly review video. What's been moving? What's been shaking in the wonderful world of sports cards? So today we're mostly going to talk about, actually, surprisingly, hold on to your seats, a lot of baseball. A little football and a very little basketball. If you want the basketball talk, I did a 30-minute video on the basketball market yesterday. So go check that one out. So for the purposes of that, I cut out most of the basketball. There's one particular thing I want to talk about when it comes to basketball. So we'll touch on that when we get there. And that's Ja stuff. I did not talk about Ja at all in yesterday's video, and I am recording this Saturday night at halftime of the Bills-Ravens game, and Ja is back. I am excited about that because I love myself some Mr. Morant. So, like, comment, sub, all the YouTube stuff. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you're watching the video, just hit the subscribe button. Doesn't hurt anything. And then smash the like button. Helps the channel, people find it, all that jazz. Typical links to market movers in the comments down below, and Star Stock promo code is still going on. I'm going to briefly touch on Star Stock for a minute. Another thing I'm going to talk, I'm not going to like dig into this, but all right, I feel like I'm like in front of like the confessional or something. I bought NBA Top Shot packs. Not going to lie, I don't necessarily understand it. I don't necessarily know what they are. I bought 3 packs. I didn't get anything good, but I'm mildly intrigued anyway? Question mark? I was going to do a video on it, but there's just better videos on it out there other than myself. And I don't really know what the hell I'm doing yet, so it would be a major disservice for you guys to watch me fumble around on NBA Top Shot trying to figure out what I just blew $30 on. So, maybe we'll touch on that in the future. I don't know, but that's a thing. The big news of the week, I don't have the page up for it or anything, but the PSA 9 mantle sold and went for an astronomical sum of money. That is not surprising. Gary Vee's been tweeting all night about sports cards again, so that's happening. James Harden played for the Nets tonight, looked fantastic, and KD looked fantastic. The two of them together looked fantastic. And Gary Vee basically said, if you don't have a bunch of KD cards, you should have a bunch of KD cards, which he's probably not wrong. All right, let's get into the meat and bones of this. We're going to briefly talk on football, a few players, and then transition over to quite a bit of baseball, and then end with a brief touch on the NBA. So football, I just wanted to take a look at 4 of the main quarterbacks. And when I say main, I mean like the more recent of, and kind of see how their stuff's performing. Now, I got Mahomes up here first, more just as kind of like a baseline. I was just curious what he was doing. And I went back 8 days on this. I went back to last Friday just to catch an extra day since the playoffs were a 2-day period and weird stuff happened based off those games and pricing. So the Mahomes stuff is pretty stable, which I would expect that, just a straight small incline up. One thing that's definitely happened, and I talked about it about a week ago, maybe, I don't know. I've talked about it within the last 14 days. Select in general is really up across the board in both football and NBA. I noticed it here when looking at Mahomes. His optics up 5%, his prisms up 11%, but his select is up 20%. And this is premier level. And I'm noticing the same thing across the board, specifically with premier levels. I noticed it on Ja. Ja basically went down a certain, we'll talk about it when we get to Ja, basically went down 20%. His select premier level specifically actually went up while he was hurt. So I know Jeff made the big video about select. Everyone in the hobby that makes YouTube content talks about select all the time. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Prism better look out. But maybe Optic better look out. I don't know. Um, in some cases it already outsells Optic. Actually, it just kind of depends on the card and the sport. But in general, Select, specifically Premier level, is finally getting trendy. I've made a billion videos on it over the years, and it looks like it's finally starting to gain some steam. So anyway, but yeah, that's Mahomes. Basically, he didn't play last week. They had the bye, and just kind of slow and steady wins the race with him. Lamar has basically stayed flat once again, going back 8 days. Now, I will say, if I ran pretty much all these charts, especially on the next 3 guys, back 14 days, they're way up. So the 7 days between the end of the season and the playoffs, they had huge spikes. And then from last week to this week, other than one quarterback we're going to talk about, they basically all stayed flat. And I think it's just because people aren't willing to roll the dice on, so for example, Lamar right now, as I am recording this, is playing Josh Allen. Lamar's stuff is basically flat the last 8 days. Josh Allen's stuff also flat the last 8 days. Now, both Lamar, for example, PSA 10 Prism at basically $900, and Josh Allen at about $850, $900 are extremely pricey already. I have a feeling whichever quarterback ends up winning this game tonight is going to see an additional spike. The one that has gone up the most the last 8 days, and I think that's because of the surprising win, is Baker, my boy. Yeah, buddy. Can't wait for Sunday afternoon. Let's go, boys. Let's go. My boy Baker is basically up 20 to 40% across the board, depending on the card. And I think that basically just has to do with the fact that the market was not expecting him to win. His stuff's also extremely undervalued to the other 2 quarterbacks. Like, you could buy 3 Baker PSA 10s for the price of 1 Lamar or 1 Josh Allen. I know Baker's kind of gets the game manager tag, but look at his stats the last 7 to 8 weeks of the season. He's actually been pretty goddamn good. Not that I'm biased or anything, but if you're looking to get into a quarterback, Baker stuff to me seems cheap compared to the other guys. Now, I actually do not own a PSA 10 Prism Baker Mayfield. I feel like that's a crime against humanity. I have an Optic. I have some Select. I have a bunch of Panini Honors unslabbed numbered stuff. I really liked that stuff when I was buying Baker a lot. I have a lot of Baker, a lot of ungraded Baker. I don't have a Baker auto. I'm in the market, but I think I'm going to wait till the off season. It seems kind of dumb to buy Baker Mayfield on the eve of the Chiefs game. Yeah, if they win tomorrow, it could go crazy. But if they lose, his prices are going to pull back. So I'm not in any hurry there. So in general, the football market has pretty much been flat the last 7 days. The last 14 days, the playoff guys have been very trendy, but the past 7, it's basically stayed pretty flat, which is not surprising. I think everyone's just kind of holding their breath to see who goes to the championship games. Baseball. The last week or so, it has slowed down a little bit. But prior to that, and I have these charts blowed way back for a reason. Prior to that, Soto and Tatis specifically, along with Acuna, had really gone crazy. Like the last 14 days, or 7 days prior to this 7 days. So if you look at the chart here, starting back on January 2nd, this really took off. And this is his Topps Chrome PSA 10 Soto. And then the paper as well. Kind of went with it. Kind of. And if we look at Tatis, we kind of see the same thing. Right here, January 2nd, the buy order went out and boo, to the moon that they went. Which is interesting. I want to just see. So, mainly why I wanted to bring this up, these two are kind of the market. This is the Ja and Zion. I know I don't talk baseball a lot on this channel. So for most of you that are here for basketball, think of these guys as the Zion and Ja. They are the two heavy hitters when it comes to the modern baseball card market. So they kind of lead the way right now, and then everyone else follows. And baseball guys, if I say something wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. Baseball is not my primary sport. I know the players, but I hate the way that you guys do rookies and true rookies. And there's 14 different versions of rookies from Tops Update, Tops Chrome Update, Tops Series 2, Tops Traded, Tops whatever. It's annoying, quite frankly. And I think it really hurts the baseball collecting market for the casual or the people that are looking to hop over from one sport to the next, just trying to figure out what the hell someone's rookie card is or their true rookie, if you will. So the biggest thing that you'll notice is on Soto specifically, the paper, if I back this way up, the paper and the chrome used to sell for basically the same amount. And in most cases, the paper sold for more. And then this past summer, us basketball people came in and go, why do I want that garbage ass paper card? I want chrome. Duh. And the gap started widening, specifically on Soto. Other stuff started to follow. But not everything has yet. And I found that interesting. So here is since prices took off at the first of the year, you can see the chrome is up 35% and the paper is only up 16%. If we look at Tatis, they have gone up hand in hand, 20%, 20%. But this gap used to also be a lot closer. So one of two things is going to happen here. Either the chrome is way overvalued or the paper has some catching up to do to maintain the gap. And this also shows me that chrome in general is probably going to continue to become more popular than paper, assuming you have the similar card. Like here, you have the regular Tops update, and then you have the Tops Chrome update. On Tatis, you have the regular Tops paper, and then you have Tops Chrome paper are considered their rookies, basically. So as we look through other baseball stuff, so these guys have been going up a lot. I'm not going to get into Acuna. He has a billion different rookies. We're not even going to go there. Not even going to go there. So what I did was, and what I noticed was Pete Alonso, for example, his Tops Chrome PSA 10 over the last 7 days is up 68%. So you can see prior to just the last couple days, his chrome and his paper were only about $10 apart. And then his chrome shot up just within the last 3 days. I'm guessing this is post-hype from the Lindor trade. His paper hasn't moved yet. It's still sitting at $55. It's up $10 on the week, but his chrome is up $37 on the week. To me, that sure makes it look like the paper is a really good buy. I'm not the biggest Pete Alonso guy, but I think you could probably buy his paper now and sit on it and probably sell it in March for a decent profit and not even carry the risk into the season. If it's anything like what we've seen for football and baseball, a lot of these guys are going to go down once the season starts, especially the trendy preseason guys. And the Mets are as trendy preseason as it comes. So then what I did was I wanted to look at some guys that have not gone up a ton yet. So you see Ozzy. I'm a big fan of Ozzy. His stuff, he's barely up. But what the main thing I noticed was these two are very close together. So essentially I was just working my way through market movers, looking at different players and seeing which ones chromes have not split from the paper yet. or which have, and the paper hasn't followed yet. So in Alonso's case, the chrome went up already. The paper hasn't. In Ozzy's case, they're both going up, but the chrome has not taken off yet. So maybe there's some value in going after his chrome. Same with De Vere's. Sorry, I forgot to run these just for 7 days. Oops, that one's got not a lot of data. So same thing. In this case, his paper's up 40% to basically catch up with the chrome. And the chrome's only up a few percent. So the chrome is the pink line. The blue line is the paper. These two being very close together makes me think the chrome is a good buy if you're into Devers. Once again, I am no baseball expert. Do your own research. This is just what I'm seeing and my thought process heading into this as I'm not going to call myself a noob, a casual. I'm a casual when it comes to baseball. I definitely have some baseball. I understand it, but I'm not in it every day like I am basketball. So what has that led me to? Let's briefly touch on Star Stock really quickly. I've been buying a lot of baseball on Star Stock rather than the physical versions of it, if you will. Just because I have a bunch of money to play with over there from NBA profits, and a lot of the stuff on Star Stock hadn't taken off yet. Now it has recently, and it's slowly building. But to me, I feel like I could buy this stuff now in early to mid January. And some of the stuff I bought a couple of weeks ago, some of it I bought more of today, actually. And just let it sit there and marinate for 2 months and come back in March and basically just hopefully sell everything for profit before the season starts. Now, what have I personally been buying? You can see it right here. I bought these Pete Alonso paper PSA 10s right before recording this video for $60. That's about what they're going for in the real world, if you will. But I didn't have to pay tax and I didn't have to pay shipping. So if I got them for $55 on eBay, I'm probably actually coming out slightly ahead on Star Stock without having to pay tax and shipping. And if I eventually want the cards, if I want to keep Alonso, I can have them ship them to me. Most likely, I will probably just sell them in 2 months. I also bought some chrome bases. I'm big on Yordan Alvarez. I feel like he's extremely undervalued. I understand he's DH only, and that's not like the best thing in the world for baseball cards. But he was a monster, had a major knee injury, and basically missed all of last season. And I just feel like people forgot about him. And I am big on Yordan for the price point. So I bought a bunch of Yordan base and some Topps Chrome. I actually have some physical Topps Chrome out at PSA right now for him. I bought some Ozzy, previously mentioned, some Devers PSA 10. I got for $50 on the paper. I picked up a Yordan refractor, some Jan Makata Chrome raw, a Torres PSA 10 for $75, which was the going rate. I basically paid the going rate for these PSA 10s. I also picked up, I thought I bought a PSA 9 of somebody. Maybe I didn't. Oh, yeah. I bought a PSA 9 Topps Chrome for $30 of Alonso. My thought process there was, is a start stock A is going for $30. His PSA 9 is going for $30. I'll just buy the PSA 9. In some cases, I think the A's are overvalued, and if the price point's the same, I will just buy the 9s. So, but that's enough of the star stock journey. But I do think it's a good time. Soto, Acuna, and Tatis are super expensive on star stock already. Missed the boat on those guys. I should have been looking at them at Christmas time, and I just wasn't thinking about it. But I am beginning to load up on baseball now. So we'll see where it goes. We will see where it goes. I'm still day trading NBA over there, but I'm definitely doing deeper dives into baseball on Star Stock. Let's briefly touch on the NBA, and we will wrap this puppy up. Ja Morant is basically the one major thing. Well, before we get into Ja, we'll talk about the one guy that really went crazy this week. Nikhil Alexander-Walker. This is his PSA 10 Silver Prism, up 110% on the week. I personally really like Nikhil. I also made a good deal of money off him on Star Stock this week. Once again, this is how you could use NBA news to your advantage on there. The night before the Pelicans game, it came out that Lonzo Ball was out. Okay, cool. They have Eric Bledsoe. Immediately after that, it came out Eric Bledsoe was questionable with an eye infection. I immediately, without hesitation, ran the star stock and bought like 10 Nickeil Alexander-Walkers for between 10 and 16.50 a piece, I think it was. Needless to say, and I had to sit on them for a day, needless to say. And there was a mini run on them right while I was buying them. A bunch of other people were buying them. They were selling fast. Needless to say, the next day comes around. He's announced the starter. He goes out and has a big game. Now, there's a lot of him on there. There was a lot of sales posts on there. So it really capped a ceiling. But I probably made anywhere between $6 to $8 a card. So I made a quick, a 24-hour turnaround, probably 60 to 80 bucks, give or take, just flipping Nickeil Alexander-Walker just based off that news. Now, that's not always going to work. And I actually sold most of it before the game even started. That's typically what I like to do on these quick flip guys. If I buy early enough and the price gets up that I'm making, 2x my money, in this case, it wasn't like that. And I knew it wasn't going to be like that. My goal was to make $5 to $8 a card. And that's what I did. I wanted to get at minimum $5 a card out of it. And that's what I did. As soon as it got to that point, I knew that there was a lot for sale and his market was going to be capped because of that. So I started selling off earlier than I probably normally would. And then you got to kind of read the room on that stuff. That's kind of the nitty gritty of star stock. So, but enough about star stock and Nickeil, but his stuff's way up. I really like him if he ever gets a solid chance to play. I wouldn't buy him now with his prices increased. I would wait for him to go back to bench duties. His prices dip and load up on him. I can see him maybe post trade deadline if they move Bledsoe, because I don't think Bledsoe's in their long-term plans. And he can become a regular rotation piece. I do like him. And maybe Lonzo's not part of their long-term plans either. And he supplants Lonzo next year. Who knows? But Lonzo's got this weird knee thing going on right now. He's not been playing well at all. As soon as I say that about a player, they go off. So you're welcome. But let's get into Ja and then close this sucker out. So Morant was announced back last night. His prices immediately went back up slightly, which you could see here. They jumped back up to 650-ish. And they got down to 623. I ran this chart from the day before he got hurt. To here. Now, this is actually up a little bit. The grand total is his base prism came off 20% in basically 2 weeks. Not quite 2 weeks. So what does that tell us? Can we take anything? Actually, a little over 2 weeks. Sorry. So is that the norm? Is that what we can expect to see with short-term injuries? And I think that could be the case. We're testing it out again with Michael Porter Jr. He was playing great, and now he's going to basically miss a combined 3 weeks due to health and safety protocols. And he, like I mentioned in the NBA video yesterday, is also down about 20 or 25%. Tatum is down about 10%. I'll be curious to see how low he gets. And then you could see Ja shot right back up again. Now, someone had just asked me the other day, should I be buying Ja right now? And I said yes. I did not expect Ja back already. I thought maybe another week. And they really kind of popped this on us. It went from some rumors about him dunking during a shoot-around earlier this week to upgraded to questionable, and bam, I'm back. He would have played last night, but their game got canceled. And he's playing right now. And last I looked, he was playing fairly decently considering he had been off for a week. What is he up to right now? In the start of the fourth quarter, he has 16 points and 6 assists on 7 of 12 shooting. Not terrible, especially against the Sixers. And they've actually played okay while he was gone. They weren't a complete dumpster fire. So they're still going to be in the playoff hunt. And the other thing that came out tonight was JJJ is about to come back. They basically said that Jaren Jackson Jr. was targeting to try to be back at around the same time that Ja came back. I would love to tell you there's a great buying opportunity on JJJ, but as I talked about in yesterday's video again, his stuff never really dipped. It's been slowly going up this whole entire time. And I worry that there could be a little off-season effect there where he comes back, doesn't live up to the hype, and his prices actually dip like a week or so after he's been back, or 2 weeks after, depending on how he plays. I could be wrong. Maybe he comes back and looks great and his prices skyrocket. Who the hell knows? But just a theory. So I guess the net effect is, if someone gets hurt, assume about a 20% dip if it's short term. And when it starts to get around 20% or lower, maybe start thinking about buying. If you believe in the player, obviously, that's the first key to all this. But, and I'm also curious, as once again we talked about yesterday, the NBA market in general is slightly shifting down a little bit right now. I'm curious to see, and a lot of it's going to depend on if he drops a monster game or not. Does Ja get back to his previous levels where he was? Does he get back up over $700, $750, creeping on $800? Or where is his new floor at? Because it's definitely not going to be $620. I can tell you that right now. I think he at least gets back up over 700, maybe 750, and then we'll see. A lot of it will depend on how he plays. But I'm just very interested in the Ja charts based off of what he was doing, what happened to him, and how he comes back, and how we can model that going forward when stuff like this happens to other players. So that's all I have for you guys. Like, comment, sub, all the YouTube stuff, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.